Olivia.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? I am here with Christiana this morning. We are going live. This is so exciting. Hi, Christiana.
Hi, Kim.
Tell us where you're from.
So I live here in London in the United Kingdom, and we're just moving into sort of the end of autumn now, coming into winter. So I'm adjusting to the lack of the fruits of summer now. So it's the end of the watermelons and all of that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's the same here in Illinois, so I completely get that. The reason we're interviewing Christiana this morning is she recently underwent a huge, long juice feast, and we are going to talk about her experience with that, and what she did was completely amazing, and I think she will be quite inspiring for others. So Christiana, let's start by talking about what is your past history with juice fasting before you did this recent long juice fast?
Okay, well, do you know, it was never, ever on my radar to do a juice fast. In fact, I used to think, you know, when people used to say the word juice feast, I was like, yeah, right. It sounds like torture to me, actually, you know, not being able to have a lovely meal to look forward to during my day. You know, that's one of the joys of my day, was to have a meal. But I have been raw mostly raw for about 2.5, nearly 3 years. And I don't know about you, but I find as I journey along in this raw food way of living and being, it's almost like the next step presents itself. And, you know, sometimes it comes unexpectedly. And that's what happened with juice feasting for me. I was working with Luca Hinich, and he was the one that inspired me to do my first juice fast, which was 3 days long. And I thought that I thought that was incredible that I'd been 3 days on juices only. A little did I know that was the precursor to a much longer experience.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute, but that is awesome. So it really wasn't on your radar before. No. And so, yeah, I truly agree with you as you continue on the raw journey that you're called to go deeper and deeper. And so you were up for the calling. So tell us, what were your prior beliefs about juice fasting?
Well, like I said, I thought juice fasting meant starving yourself and existing on really very little nourishment, almost depriving the body of what it needs. So for me, a juice fast was, you know, riddled with fear and a sense of, you know, how can this be good for the body? It needs food as sustenance. And I was also very much aware, you know, I have, you know, a bit of a past with food issues. So I've had, you know, sort of times where I've restricted too much, times where I've gone the other way. And I was aware of sort of having some fears around putting myself into a highly restrictive experience and the repercussions that might follow thereafter. So that was all in the mix for me. And of course, what other people would say about me doing this.
Sure. So what changed your perception about not getting enough sustenance on a juice-only diet?
Well, it was partly being part of the Rejuvenate Raw with Kim group. It was understanding how the dynamics of it, the truth of it, that actually the body is backed up inside with lots of toxic waste that it can't release. And what it needs to have in order to do that is the space, the hydration, and yeah, all that it needs in order to move all of that toxic waste out. And a juice feast is the way to do that, because when we're all toxic inside, it affects our mental well-being, our physical well-being, everything. And when I understood it from that perspective, I was like, well, you know, I've got to do, I want to do this. I want to let go of all that's holding me back physically and in my life, you know.
Interesting. So for you and for all of us, really, first of all, it takes knowing how it all works. And then through the knowledge, then we develop the belief that it does work.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then you can explain it to other people as well when they think you're, you know, going over the edge or something.
Yeah. Sometimes they want to hear it and sometimes
yes.
they don't. So, okay. So how long did you think you were going to go when you started this juice feast?
Well, I did work with a coach, and Nathan Mulder was the guide that I worked with. Amazing guide. It was with the intention for 90 days, although if I'm really honest, at the start I thought, well, I'll probably just do about 30. You know, I'm sure that would be enough for me. You know, at the time 90 seemed like, gosh, 3 months. It just seemed, you know, an enormous amount of time. So really, I think internally I was thinking, well, if I get to 30, I'll be happy with that.
So how long did you actually go?
Well, I ended up 101 days. Can you believe it?
Amazing.
Even more than 90. I think.
That is amazing. That's over a quarter of a year, right?
And the funny thing is, it was actually hard to let go of it a bit in the end. It becomes such a
routine.
A way of being. Yeah. It was hard to sit down at the table and with some fruit in front of me and think, gosh, I'm going to actually chew this. You know, how do we do this again? You know.
So let's talk about what are some of the changes you saw, and what are some of the things you went through, the ups and downs in your juice feast. By the way, let's define juice feast and juice fast. They're really the same thing, and we like to call it a juice feast because we're not limiting ourselves on how much juice we drink through the day. We are not hungry at all when we juice feast. We get hungry, we drink more juice. So I like calling it a juice feast. Yes. So Christiana, tell us about your experience.
So some of the changes, well, some of the amazing things about a juice feast, you know, first of all, like you said, I was never hungry. I made a contact at a local grocery store with a man from, I think he's from Saudi Arabia, and he got loads of, he had a contact and he got these massive watermelons in, and we did a deal, and I just really survived a lot on watermelon juice, and I could just, you know, drink liters of it. I think I was probably having about 6 liters a day of watermelon juice, sometimes 7 liters. I thought that I wouldn't be able to do exercise, I wouldn't be able to, you know, concentrate on my work. It was the total opposite. In fact, I was back down the gym, working out more than I was before the juice feast, and I had so much more energy. You know, it wasn't all plain sailing. And the thing is, you know, you go on a juice feast, you've got to expect it's going to be a little bit challenging. And for me, the strange thing is, and I was talking to my old coach this morning about this, you know, the most challenging day for me was day number 1. And it was interesting because I drank 2 liters of watermelon juice and my whole body, everything started to react. I came out in detox symptoms, nausea, a pounding headache, day 1. And I was like, well, I mean, this
Forget
is
this, right?
hell. Yes. But the thing was, and this is important with a juice feast, it's about committing to it, I found. You know, I'd made the decision, and it was almost like I was being tested right at the start. How much do you want this transformation? And that's what I was in it for. Interior transformation, physically and psychologically, spiritually. That's what I was in search of.
Awesome. And do you feel like you met your goals?
I do. I think, you know, I mean, the spiritual side of a juice feast, I can't even put it into words. I mean, it's just awesome. You know, I went from sort of, I think, subconsciously relying on food as my way of soothing myself. And I now am able to turn within and listen to the still small voice. It's just, it's incredible. You really do come to sort of meet yourself on this journey.
I love that. I totally understand, because I have been there, and it's just something you don't understand unless you experience it. That is
like
awesome.
you put down everything that's holding you back. And like someone said, you know, I think it's in the Bible actually, it says, you know, what did you go out into the desert to find? Was it a reed shaken by the wind? Was it a king in fine robes? No, you went to meet yourself.
Meet yourself. I love that. Well, you know, when you talk about, you know, somewhat of an addiction to food and how you soothe yourself through eating, that is so common with most of us. So that's awesome that you feel like you broke that pattern. Did you lose weight while on the juice fast feast?
I did. I didn't lose half as much as what I thought. I mean, I was never really overweight, but I could do with losing a couple of kilograms, as over here is what we refer to. So I did end up doing that. I did lose a couple of kilograms, maybe 3 kilograms. Bearing in mind, though, I was working out more, and also the body absorbs so much fluid, you know, which it needs. I mean, it's meant to be 70% your cells are of fluid. So although it wasn't a massive weight loss, it's been very healthy.
Well, I have to say, you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Kim.
And I was telling Christiana before we started recording this that she looks incredible. I've seen her before, and there's a whole new glow about her, and just her presence is different. She seems more peaceful and content and happy. So
it's true.
Yeah, a juice feast goes way, way beyond the physical, and it's just so worth it. So I invite everyone to jump onto our juice feast on November 8th. And there's nothing, Christiana talked about how she had a coach, and it's just so helpful to have someone guide you along the way and to be there with you. Do you agree with that, Christiana?
100%. I think, you know, for me, it was part of my committing to it. And, you know, and sort of stating, yes, okay, what do I need to support myself because I've made this decision, and then putting that in place. That was really important for me. Exactly. I think I knew I needed that.
Right. And when I first started, I had many coaches and someone to, in a sense, hold my hand through it. And it just is such a comforting feeling. And in the Juice Challenge, you'll have a whole community of people who are doing the Juice Challenge along with you. So we will put that link here in the comments section. So Christiana, before we go, do you plan to juice fast again in the future?
Yes, I think I do. I probably won't do such a long one again. Because I kind of feel like that was a once in a lifetime experience, that length. But I would definitely consider doing maybe a 30-day every summer, or when the watermelons are back.
Yeah.
I'll be back down that grocery store.
I'm sure you will. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. We really appreciate it, and congratulations on your accomplishment. That's amazing. All right, everybody, we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.